I don't like disaster films. So when I was recommended Dante's Peak, a disaster film about a volcano starring Pierce Brosnan and Linda Hamilton from the 1990s, I thought, perfect, let's get this ball rolling. We begin with Pierce Brosnan escaping from a volcano with his girlfriend. So the girlfriend takes a rock to the face and has a bottle of ketchup poured on her. Oh, she's dead? Okay. Sorry, but there should be no head to pour ketchup on. Why is it that Hollywood likes to whack women really hard around the head, but not follow through with the gory results that inevitably happen? Time jump, yay. So what do manly men do to cope with their grief-stricken trauma? I work out. Pierce Brosnan is a volcanologist. He likes volcanoes and he works hard, and that's about it. That's all we're kind of told about his character. So he gets pulled out of his vacation so that he can be sent to check out some volcano activity in the quiet town of Dante's Peak. Why is a town called Dante's Peak? So the founders read Dante's Inferno and thought it was a really quaint and wholesome story. They named their town after a book about hell. Okay. Anyway, Pierce Brosnan's boss makes a point of saying that even though the volcanic activity is unusual, there's no need to kick up a fuss as it's unlikely the volcano is going to erupt because it's dormant. So why did you bring Pierce Brosnan back in from his vacation? We saw that there are many other people that are qualified to go to Dante's Peak. Why don't you send one of them? Pierce goes to the town and we meet Linda Hamilton, who is the town's mayor and is a single mother of 2. Okay, cool. A woman in power. This is forward thinking for a blockbuster film from the 90s. Maybe this film is going to have a strong female lead? Oh wait, never mind. I have nothing to say about Linda Hamilton's kids apart from they only exist to drive the plot, and that the son is the kid from that one episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, although I legit thought he was Joseph Gordon-Levitt for a bit. So Linda Hamilton shows Pierce Brosnan around right after she drops her kids off at the grandma's. Oh no, she lives right next to the volcano. I hope nothing bad happens to her. No, don't bring dogs into this.
98% of the time they're just false alarms.
Then why did you agree to stop your vacation?
Does it smell? Beautiful.
Ugh, creep. Whilst PB is being shown around by Linda, this young couple gets bored alive. Okay. They find the couple and PB thinks there's enough evidence now to be concerned and brings the rest of the volcano squad in. Because the film needs conflict, I guess, Pierce wants to raise an alarm but his boss says no because he doesn't want to unnecessarily freak out the entire town over potentially nothing, which is completely fair. PB is a bit of a prick. He undermines his superior and calls a town council meeting and tells them that they should raise an alarm.
You need a vacation.
What? He was on vacation. You were the one that brought him back. Oh no, not bubbling water. Peanut Butter hangs out with Linda and her kids for a bit, and even though they've known each other for a day, he asks some inappropriate and personal questions about her previous marriage, and she's totally cool with it. Good job, Linda. Really set some boundaries there. We get some time where PB&J and the rest of the volcano squad are investigating the volcano. There's nothing remotely interesting about any of these people. The only one I remember is this guy, and that's just that he likes coffee. He's coffee guy.
Best looking mayor I've ever seen. She's got my vote. Twice.
Well, that's aged great. Don't we love casual sexism about women in power? Yay, the 90s.
What just wrecked the mic? What just wrecked the mic? What just wrecked the mic? Silent.
Oh yeah, Linda runs a cafe as well as being a mayor. This has just sprung up on us. At this point, they use Linda as a stand-in for the audience, so the volcano squad can dump exposition on her and say random sciencey jargon, except the writers clearly couldn't think of a reason for Linda to be in the scene. It didn't occur to them that she's the mayor of the town and it's legitimately reasonable for her to be updated on whether or not the town she runs is going to be engulfed in lava at any point. No, that didn't occur to them, so they've just demoted her to Coffee Girl. Great! There's a sequence where they take a robot for a walk down the volcano, but it stops working because 90s. Some guy goes down to fix it. To be fair, that's how I fix most things.
I'm going off rope.
There's no reason for him to go off rope. He only walks to the other side of the robot. He only does this because movie. There's an earthquake, a couple of rocks fall on the robot and the guy.
Man, I cannot believe the camera's still working after taking a hit like that.
Yeah, me neither, mate. Despite having peanut butter and jelly be heroic for a moment, there was no point to this sequence. PB nearly has sex with Linda, only to be cock-blocked by some muddy water. He shows this to Bossman, and Bossman finally realises that their volcano is actually going to erupt. Linda calls Grandma and is trying to convince her to come down from her cabin right next to the volcano. But Granny is basically being a stubborn old woman. You know, the ones you see on the news who insist on staying in their house when there's legit a wildfire 2 doors down from them? Ugh, these kind of people infuriate me. Linda also has her kids right next to her while she's talking to the grandma on the phone. Yeah, this is a really appropriate conversation they should be allowed to listen to. Peanut Butter and Linda leave the kids on their own so that they can go to a town meeting, which goes about as well as you expect, and then... This is followed by what seems like an eternity of destruction, which is just really boring. PB is driving around like an absolute dick, completely disregarding the fact that there are hundreds of others who are equally as scared and also want to get out of the town. They realise that the kids have gone to Grandma's to save her. You know how I said earlier about how the kids are only there to drive the plot? Mr. Peanut Butter uses the power of 4x4 to continue driving like a tool. Yeah, 90s product placement. And yet, somehow it's still more subtle than the product placement in World War Z. Despite the product placement, they still get stuck. Yeah, great! That guy is definitely going to drown, but the heroes are safe. Don't bring dogs into this. Mr. Peanut Butter and Linda finally get to Grandma's, and instead of getting the hell out of there, they just chill out for a bit, and are then surprised when lava is suddenly pouring through the walls. They're all surrounded by the lava and decide the only way to escape is on the boat and into the lake, which all of a sudden...
Volcanic activity has turned the lake to acid.
Only Fallout Boy can save me now.
I didn't make any comment on the scientific accuracy of this film because at the end of the day, it's a subject I know next to nothing about. After watching the film and doing a bit of research, it turns out the film does actually stick to the science quite a bit. Albeit exaggerated, but apparently the science checks out, according to the one article I read anyway. They're on the lake and the boat begins to corrode, which results in the grandma doing a stupid and jumping into the lake, pushing the boat the rest of the way.
My eyes, the goggles do nothing.
A few hours later, she's dead and there's a sad moment, even though there's still chaos and destruction happening. I'm expected to feel sorry for this woman, but she's an idiot. Karma's a bitch. Mr. Peanut Butter and the kids conveniently find another 4x4 and, of course, he knows how to hotwire a car. It didn't occur to them to maybe look in the house? Also, why do movie people always know how to hotwire cars? Oh, meanwhile the Volcano Squad are getting out of the town and Bossman, well, he... PB and Co. reach some hardened lava.
Can we drive across there?
I don't know.
You would know. It's your job to know. Of course they drive over it, somehow survive despite...
More lava's coming down the hill! Mommy!
Don't bring dogs into this. So the volcano erupts again, which creates something called a
Pyroclastic cloud.
which apparently is very, very bad, and they need to shelter immediately. So where's the most logical place to go? Well, a mine, of course.
A mine!
What could possibly go wrong? Despite this, they conveniently whip out a Deus Ex Machina, and they're all saved! Great. Dante's Peak, like the majority of disaster films, is bad. The characters are about as interesting as cardboard. The story is so formulaic and uninspired, I could easily predict the entire plot within the first minutes of the film. But I guess the audience this film is aimed at are the kind who don't care about seeing a good film. They just want to see senseless death and destruction. To be fair, there were some cool moments. The film has aged surprisingly well, and a lot of it is down to the use of models, and not an over-reliance on CGI. Kudos there, I guess. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you would like to recommend me another film, please comment below. If it takes your fancy, have a gander on my channel and even give me a subscribe. Thanks!